Hey guys, Jeff here, Dice Setter. Let's talk about craps. Well, let's talk about gambling in general. And let's see what we can come up with. And let's talk about how we can win more money. It's a fun game, it's an exciting game. How do we win more money? Let's talk about gambling in general. If you were to look at slot machines, return to player, RTP, there are many regulations about return to player, RTP. In the state of Nevada, it can only go down to 75%. So that's like basically saying if you put in 100, you should get $75 back. That's not the way it works all the time because that is the life expectancy of that machine. Machines last at least 5 years. Most time on a casino floor, they don't even make it 1 year. But the life expectancy of that machine, let's say it's 5 years, it should do 75% return to player. But that's not the way it is all the time. You could sit there and put 3 grand in it and lose everything. On the other hand, like what I was doing playing Phoenix League last time I was in Vegas, I got a bonus. I followed up with always 3 backup spins. The first backup spin, I got another bonus, followed by 3 backup spins and yet another bonus. This happened 5 times in a row. So that RTP would not be, which I'm guessing Ellis Island is around 90%, it would be way higher than that because my return to player was much higher. Slot machines go through periods. They go through a collect period and then they go through a non-collect period, and that's what you're trying to find. There's no way of knowing which period that machine is at, but you sit there and go through whatever amount you desire, and if it doesn't return anything back, you go, well, this is in a take mode and I'm going to try a different machine. People argue that the slots in downtown have a higher RTP. That is not the case since 2020. Since 2020, they've actually lowered their RTP, while the Strip has maintained their RTP. I would have to sit there and say, guess, the Strip is around 88 to 89% return to player. And Fremont Street would be lower than that. If you went from, say, the Strip to playing at Ellis Island, which might be 1 to 2% difference in RTP, could you tell the difference? If you're on the same machine, playing the same denom and playing the same amount, could you tell the difference? Brian Christopher was asked that question. He is Mr. Slots. He said, yeah, you would be able to tell the difference just between that 1 to 2%. My cat's doing weird things. Let's talk about a coin flip. Would you sit there and consider a coin flip 50-50? Well, most of us would sit there and say, sure. I Googled it. No, it's not 50-50. Most of the time when they're testing, the first heads or tails that it lands on, whichever one it is, that's the one that's more prominent to landing on thereafter. So it's not 50-50. If you were to look at the craps game, most time when people go up to the craps table and when you can bet, most people play the pass line. But then the don't pass has a less house advantage than the pass line. The pass line is 1.41% house advantage, and the don't pass line is 1.36%. You say, well, I don't even worry about that. I just go for the 6 and 8. The 6 and 8 has a 1.52% house advantage. The difference between the pass line and 5 and 6 is only 0.11%. That shows you just how different playing just the pass line to playing both 6 and 8. The difference from house advantage is only 0.11. If you play the 5 and 9, house advantage is 4%. I have to ask most people when they play the pass line, when it's a 50-50 chance, pass line, don't pass line, and then person sevens out before they hit the point, and the very next turn they go back on the pass line, and they keep on repeating the same process. It's not 50-50. The don't will win a hair more than the pass line will win. The 4 and 10, the house advantage is 6.67. You'll see people that will come up to the table and they'll only play the 5 and 9. And I have to ask myself, why are you playing only the 5 and 9? The difference of that is 3.48% between playing the 6 and 8, house advantage. If you look at Baccarat, you sit there and say, well, there's banker and there's player. It's got to be 50-50, right? Not so. Banker, house advantage 1.06. Player, 1.24. Yes, if you play banker, you do have to give them a commission. But even after paying that commission, it still behooves you to play banker. And of course, that is through a course of a long period. If you sit there and say, well, I always play player and I always win, well, you must be in that window of opportunity that the banker does not win. When you're playing craps, average player can roll 6 times before a 7. If you are a dice setter, dice manipulator, a person that changes the dice in front of them to what they want, has a place where they start, has a place where they end, and it's almost identical every single time. What happens if you are changing that percentage by only 0.2%? Would you be able to see that? What if you could change it to 0.5%? Well, being that a slot machine, you can see the difference between a return to player by 1%. I'm pretty sure you could probably see a 0.5%. So those that sit there and say, well, you're just wasting your time by having a practice table and trying for hours and hours to have the right dice set, the right throw, the right everything. I'm not looking to sit there and call my number as I roll. Okay, guys, here goes a 10. Yeah. Okay, guys, here goes a 6. I'm just trying to shave off the percentage of it landing on 7. Now, there are some dice setters that can sit there and dice set for 7. Sure, why not? It's the easier number to hit out of all of them. Look at the world record for the longest roll without a 7 out. It lasted over 4 hours. If you're playing the don't on that table at that time, at what time would you sit there and switch over and go, man, this lady is on a roll, even though she wasn't dice setting? She rolled 154 times without a 7 out. So you have her on one spectrum, and then you have the people that, and of course I include myself, sat there and got your point and then sat there and got a 7. Point out 7. POS. That's a wide spectrum. 1 to 154. And we want something in between that. We would really like to have it 10 or higher. 10 or higher. What is the chances of having 154 rolls without a 7 out? It is 1.56 trillion. Not billion, not million, but trillion. The lady that did that roll, they asked her how much money she won. She would not say. Experts believe that it had to be at least over $100,000. 4.5 hours, 150 some odd rolls, yeah, you better be making some money. Experts also suggest that if you knew what you were doing, that you should have walked away from that table with millions. At what point of her rolling, if she were to come back and that moment be at your casino, at what point of her rolling would you go, this is incredible, I'm going to max bet everything? At what point? At what point would you sit there and say, this is it? This is what we've all been waiting for, a massive long throw. I'm not for sure. I mean, sometimes we see the beginnings of one, you're like, man, is this it? Is this it? Only to increase your bet and have them 7 out. You tell me in the comments. At what point of seeing this roll would you sit there and say, this is something, I'm going to sit there and have a part of it? I don't know. She was not dice setting, yet she broke a record that probably none of us will be able to ever achieve. And we're not looking to achieve that record. I only want 10 rolls without a 7. If I can guarantee myself 10 rolls without a 7, I can make $400 to $500 every single session that I am rolling. That's fine with me. Come early, there's only 4 or 5 people at the table, win 400, have it go back around the table, back to me, win another 400. That'd be excellent. Should we be playing the don't pass more? Or should we just not play the pass and the don't unless you have to roll? You tell me in the comments. And the don't having better odds than the pass line. And yet, mark my word, you go to a table and everyone has money on the pass line. It's 50-50. Well, not even that. They're on the opposite side of 50-50. They're on the bad side. You might as well call that the dark side of 50-50. If you're a dice setter and can conceivably sit there and say, I can roll 10 times without a 7 out, and I'm going to hit my point, then of course, the smart thing to do is pass line. You don't want to lose your pass line. If we are surrounded by other dice setters, should we just not do the pass line, don't pass line, hedge, and we should go for the 6 and 8 and migrate out? I want to know in the comments. This is what is learning, is everyone being active part of the comment section. Because I want to know. I don't ask people that I don't know while I'm sitting by craps, playing craps, ask them, why are you on the pass line for? Don't you know? They'd probably look at me like I'm some kind of idiot. Well, I probably am. To them. That's why I'm asking you guys, because I trust you guys. I want answers. I don't have those answers. This is a learning experience for both of us. It's not 50-50. Should we start asking people when you see everyone with the, pass line bet and they're not rolling? Why don't you move that to the don't? In the long run, you'll win more money that way. Or save it and put it on the 6 and 8. And it's got to be the 6 and 8. It can't be the big 6 and the big 8, because that one was paying even money, whereas the 6 and 8 up on top place bet is not even money. That's all I got for you today, and I hope this stirs something up, that I have comments. And you guys can sit there and join in on the comments too. If you see somebody ask a question or sit there and make a statement, join in with them. That's part about being in the family. Don't be shy. The water's warm. Hop on in. But just things like that, I don't have answers for. And maybe you guys do. If you're watching and you always put money on the pass line, can I ask you why? Being that the don't pays more often, not pays more, but pays often. They both pay 1-to-1, but the don't pays more often than the pass line. Questions like that I can ask for days. I don't have answers, but I'd want answers because nobody's answering these questions. Let me know in the comments, guys. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, why not? It just tells other people that watch Craps, hey, he's pretty good. We like watching his show. That's all it's all about. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just cool to sit there and keep on growing. I'd rather keep us growing than for it to be stale and stagnant, because stale and stagnant is not it for me. Have a good one, guys. See you next time.